guys, I've never actually gone live on YouTube before. I assume it's like all of my other platforms here. But I figured I'm just gonna work on cleaning out this stock tank. The horses have drug a bunch of silt and dirt and nasty things into it. And so I was gonna work on cleaning that out and just answer whatever questions you guys have about the farm or the horses, the chickens, whatever that may be. So that's typically what I do on my other platforms when I go live, is I just do a chore and I talk to you about pretty much whatever. So if you've got a question, feel free to comment it. This tank hasn't been cleaned really yet this year, so we've got some goldfish in it that help keep the green down, but there is silt and stuff in the bottom just from the horses dragging dirt into it. And oh, there's a big scoop right now. Yeah, look at that. And so I can only take out so much at a time, because if I pull out too much, I'll kill our fish, and that's not what I want. So that's kind of what I'm on to, what I'm doing here. When I finish this chore or get it to a good place, I'll move on to something different. But like I said, it's my first time going live, so I'm just kind of seeing how it goes. I don't supplement my feed with anything. I use the Kalmbach Hen House Reserve. Every once in a while, I will switch it up and I will use the flock maker, like the pellets or the crumble for the chickens. But aside from that, I guess I use oregano oil in their water from time to time too, but I wouldn't really call that so much of a feed supplement, as it's just a natural boost to their immunity. So that's really good stuff that I really like to use as well. It's harder to do this than you would think. Getting a good shovel full of gunk here. Ugh. Yeah, look at that. It's just dirt and mud and fish silt. So I am trying really hard to grow my YouTube channel here. I'm working on some more long form content. Previously I just focused on short form stuff, but I'm trying really hard to monetize here. So if you've got the time, you want to go watch some of my longer form videos, I only have a few up, but that would be tremendously helpful for me just to get monetized here so I can do more cool things for the farm. So all of my farm stuff is funded through my social media, and I don't ask you guys to fund that in any way. I just fund it based on creator rewards programs through Facebook and TikTok. So it would be really tremendously helpful if I could monetize here on YouTube as well. Look at that nasty stuff. It smells bad too, if that tells you anything. But it has been an exceptionally rainy year, and so the horses will come up with their mouthfuls of feed and they'll drop it in here. Of course, the goldfish are going to poo in here a little bit too. So that's what some of this is as well. But I'm just kind of stirring it up, getting as much silt out of here as possible, and then I'm going to flood the tank so it goes clean. It is really gross, but I can't do it all at once, because if I do, I'll kill our goldfish. So I have to do this a little here and a little there for however long it takes to get it a lot cleaner. So it was clear the other day, but there's still some silt that I've got to move out little by little. Oh, so it'll look worse before it gets better there. Yeah, no problem at all. I really like the Hen House Reserve, and the chickens really seem to like it too. It's one of those things that they eat the same food every day, but they're excited for it every day as well, which is an interesting concept to me, but I guess they must like it. I've gotten a ton of stuff done around here today. It's been one of those days where I can just actually accomplish something. And so I've got some coops cleaned, some nest boxes cleaned. I worked on some long form YouTube videos. And now I'm working on this stock tank here. It's very clearly not as clean as it should be. Look at that. Another good shovel full. Just trying to check and see. If you're just hopping on, it's kind of sharing that typically on my lives, I just do something. I do a chore and I answer questions. So if you've got any questions about the chickens, about the farm at all, I would be happy to hear it, happy to answer it. We are in the process of raising meat chickens right now too, so that'll be some really interesting content coming up. Oh, caught a goldfish. Sorry, fishy. I always enjoy the meat bird content, and at the end of it, I get fresh meat for my family, which is a pretty cool thing too. But I feel like it's a really interesting topic, something that not a lot of people really know a whole bunch about. Because it's one of those topics that sometimes makes people uncomfortable when you talk about raising your own food. Sometimes people would like to just pretend that, you know, an animal doesn't have to die for that. But whether you're buying it at the store or you're raising it yourself, that's where meat comes from. So, whew, it's enough to make your back sore. Having a flock of 40 down to 5. We're in Montana. Yeah, I can imagine the predators in Montana. Was it predators, do you think? Or do you think it was some sort of illness, Robert? I would assume predators. You'd probably have more in Montana than you would there in Florida, at least as far as big predators go. I guess depending on where you're at in Florida. Florida can have, you know, cougars and bobcats and all sorts of those nasty little critters as well. Raccoons, of course, are a major problem with chickens. But I gotta say, if I lived somewhere with bear, I probably wouldn't have chickens or really livestock at all, because it just, I don't know. I'm not willing to tussle with a bear. I did fight a raccoon with a shovel once, and I'd do it again. But a bear, I'm not so sure about. Fun fact for you, in Norwegian, they call a raccoon a washing bear, you know, because they wash their food before they eat it. So my husband's from Norway. So when he was telling our family that I fought a raccoon with a shovel to save my flock, they immediately thought bear because of washing bear. And that was a fun thing to discuss there. Yeah, scaly leg mites, my flock gets that periodically as well. It's manageable, but it is a real pain in the rear. But stray dogs are one of the, if not the worst predators for chickens, because they're everywhere. And for whatever reason, people don't seem to think that you have to keep track of your dog. You can just let it run all over town, and that's totally fine. And it's not. There is nothing that grinds my gears more than irresponsible pet ownership. I think I've reached a point where all my silt is pretty out of reach here, but yeah, the raccoons are tough. We've had trouble with raccoons. We've pretty much, everything we do now, we do with the thought of a raccoon in mind. Okay, well, yeah, there's another shovel full of it. I don't know how much more I can or should scoop out of here today. So I think I'm just gonna give it a good stir, which is kind of gross to think about. Pop the hose in there and let the water run and see if we can get this to run clear. So it will clear it up at some point. It just takes a little bit. Oh, it's so nasty, it smells terrible. Yeah, sometimes you do have to take care of the dog. If somebody's not going to take care of their dog and keep it on their own property, unfortunately, sometimes the dog pays the price for a poor owner, and it sucks. It's really unfortunate, but we've had issues with a stray dog here before, and I kind of wanted to handle it that way, but my dad said, "Nah, I don't think you really want to do that." So instead, we were able to work that out with the neighbors and take care of things that way. But yeah, there's the geese honk honk honking. Yeah, so the process of making a new chicken coop. Yeah, making sure that thing is secure is really important. All right, this chicken run smells atrocious. They get sick easily. What do you mean they get sick easily? Do you think that they've got like is it an environmental thing? I'm gonna scoop some feathers here over in this run. Let me get my supplies. Look out, Chiggy. Look out. Whoa, look out. I don't want to squish you with the door. Okay. I've got lots of feathers in here today. It's nasty. Have you tried oregano oil in their water? That seems to help a lot with all sorts of different illnesses. It's a really great immune booster. Oh, this is so many feathers in here, and it's been so wet and rainy that everything just stinks. It smells terrible. And there's only so much you can do about it. We're over, I think it's 10 inches over our average rain, which is ridiculous. We're not used to getting that much rain in a year, so it's been tough. We were definitely not built for a lot of rain, and unfortunately for us, that's what we've been blessed with this year. So, ugh. Feathers galore. I need to scoop some of this stinkier stuff out of here too, but for now, feathers is gonna have to be it. I don't know how well my internet stays connected out here. Sometimes it does fairly good, sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle, but like I said earlier, I'm just doing chores and answering questions. That's usually how I do my lives. The chickens are just hanging out there in the background. Things are extra nasty and stinky because all it does is rain around here. So I'm doing my best, my darndest to get things at least halfway cleaned up here. But yeah, I would definitely give oregano oil a try. It's really good stuff, but I would also try and figure out what it is that they've got that's making them sick. Because there are some illnesses that you can treat routinely with medications that don't have an egg withdrawal. So if they've got mycoplasma, you can treat them with Tiagard, Tiamulin. It's easy to add to their water and it doesn't have an egg withdrawal. Yeah, unfortunately for me, I'm not built for the rain. Our runs are not made for a lot of moisture, and so it has been a bit of a rough summer for us. What did that say? Breeding chickens, breeding anything, if you do it the right way, can be profitable. We don't really breed our birds much. We sell hatching eggs from time to time, but it's not something that I'm super serious about. But of course, if you do it right, you can make money off of it. Really, you can make money off of anything if you do it right, but oh yeah, that's very least in here. I got some of these feathers up, but a lot of them are like really stuck to the ground there. I always look like a crazy person when I'm out here on my lives because I'm just talking to a screen and doing whatever I want. Sometimes it's hard for me to see, so I don't know if anybody's actually on here, but I'm still yapping away, so I guess it is what it is. Ugh. Just a lot of wet feathers in here. Yeah, I should start trying to do a live stream here on YouTube every week. I've got TikTok and Facebook Live, or Facebook too, and Instagram. So I am everywhere. And so it is really hard to decide which platform you want to focus on. But I do really want to get monetized here on YouTube so I can do bigger and better things for the farm. And that's going to take going live, getting the watch hours, and really focusing on my long form content. So I have some videos coming up on why we raise Cornish cross meat chickens. I posted one today about helping our hen that had water belly. And I'm gonna try, like really genuinely consciously try to do long form videos here on YouTube, once or twice a week. So we'll kind of see how that goes. Just like always, if you guys have any sort of suggestions for what you want me to make a video on, if going live is something that people really enjoy, that's something I'd be willing to do more often here on YouTube as well. It's very interesting to me how different each audience is. The audience on TikTok is not the same as the audience on Facebook. It's not the same as the audience on YouTube. It's not the same as the audience on Instagram. So trying to juggle making every single one of those hit the target audience and also, you know, be worth the amount of time that it takes to make a video is a challenge. But I do try. See, and I really like a lot of short form stuff. So if I can take some of those short form videos and turn them into longer form content, I think that would be a really helpful thing to do. And I can look at some of those topics that I've already covered and look at going more in depth on those topics and doing some long form videos on those. I think that would be tremendously helpful. It's the hardest on YouTube to monetize. I don't know why YouTube is, you know, pinching pennies or whatever, but yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going to start working more on that long form content. That's something that I want to do. It's something I've been meaning to do for a long time, but there have definitely been times in the last several weeks where creating content is the last thing on my mind because everything is just falling apart and I don't have time to fix my problems and film about it, if that makes any sense. But yeah, long form stuff is definitely coming. Feel free to comment on any of my videos. Hey, I'd like to see this in long form. Give me some, you know, just content ideas for what it is you're hoping to see. And I'll try and do my best to make that long form content engaging and longer and, you know, kind of just expand on those things that I talk about. Short form is kind of where I'm at because as you can tell, I talk fast, and that's just what I'm used to doing on TikTok and Facebook Reels. But I am willing to get out of my comfort zone a little bit, as long as we all understand that out of my comfort zone may suck as I figure out what I'm doing. But yeah, figuring out how to edit, how to film it, all those things takes time, and I'm certain that my first few videos will be not very good, but I'm gonna try my best. Well, thanks, Doug. I really have tried hard. It would be tremendously helpful for me if I could get monetized here on YouTube, so I have to get outside my comfort zone a little bit. It's part of the reason I went live here today, is to get outside of my comfort zone a little bit and to expand all of my platforms and make a stronger connection, I guess, here with YouTube. Yeah, there are tons and tons of people that have chickens. Chickens are really popular right now, and they're honestly worth it. I think that anybody that can house them, can feed them, and take care of them right, I think they should have birds. It's really frustrating to me when, you know, city ordinances say you can't have chickens, because I don't see a lot of downsides to people being able to raise their own food, provide anything for themselves, their family. Seems like a good thing to me. Thanks, Robert. I do try. Oh. Sometimes I wish that you guys could smell the things that I smell while I'm doing these chores. But if that were the case, I don't know that any of you would stick around very long, because it is absolutely disgusting today. So this run is still not great. I'm gonna scoop up the stinky stuff tomorrow. The coop is cleaner though. I got this cleaned today. Of course, they've still pooped in there some because they're chickens and that's what chickens are gonna do. But we've made a lot of progress getting the farm cleaned up today. If I can just keep it from raining and ruining all of that progress, that would be just lovely. Yeah, I think even just allowing people to have just 5, I think is better than saying, no, you can't have chickens at all. And I understand no roosters in town to a degree. For me, I would rather listen to a rooster crow than a dog bark. But if people aren't gonna keep their dogs inside and take care of their dogs, I can't imagine they'd take that great a care of a rooster either. So, you know, it's one of those things where I personally would rather hear a rooster crow than deal with a barking dog. But if you're not a farm person, I could see why you wouldn't like that at all. But to me, a rooster typically is only going to crow during the daytime, and the dog's going to bark all day and all night. So, you know, that's kind of one of those things. But yeah, I think it'd be great if more cities allowed for people to raise their own chickens, raise their own, you know, in a way that makes sense, provide food for themselves. Yeah, so we actually, the most roosters we've had at once was, I think we had 9 of them that all free ranged at one time. And it was fine. They were all raised together, so they all got along together fairly well. And we didn't have any trouble with them, any trouble with that at all. So a lot of the times when they're raised together, they do just fine together, but it really does depend a lot on the personality of the rooster. I don't know. You can't see much of anybody in this coop. They're all hiding underneath it right now. But I have a rooster in every coop. And most of the eggs on my farm are fertilized. I have people ask all the time if all of our eggs are fertilized, how come we don't have chicks? And that's just because we gather our eggs every day. So if you gather your eggs every day, you're not going to have accidental birds on your farm. It takes time for an egg to develop into a chick. It takes the proper temperature for an egg to develop into a chick. So having a rooster isn't necessarily something to be nervous about, because just because you have a rooster doesn't mean your birds are going to reproduce like crazy. That's something that takes time, it takes effort. You're going to have to put the eggs in an incubator or let your hens sit on them. All right. There are definitely some sections in here that I would like to remove because they're stinky. Yeah, the barred rocks are really good birds. The hens are really good layers. They're really good in all weather. They're typically fairly gentle, fairly nice roosters to have around as well. Even some feathers. A lot of these feathers are really stuck in the ground here. But that's about the best I can do there. And I'm about all chored out for the day, so I'm just gonna sit over here and see if maybe I can get the birds to come hang out with me. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I have a couple in this coop. They really like to come and sit on my shoulder, which I think is fun. So we might just hang out over here and see if Corella will hop up on my shoulder, and she's eyeballing me. We have lots of really cool birds on the farm. So we've got black copper morans, we've got naked necks, which are some of my all-time favorites. Silver spangled Appenzeller Spitzhabens, we've got Easter eggers, we've got Americanas, we've got wheat morans. Did I say black copper morans already? Brahmas, a bunch of mixes. We have Andalusians, we have Leghorns. What else do we have? We have silver-laced Wyandotte. So we've got all sorts of different birds, lots of different breeds. We've got Cornish cross in the brooder right now, which I would take you guys down and show you, but I'd have to walk all the way to my parents' house, and I don't really want to do that. Doug, I just started going live here on YouTube. Today is actually the first time. I would like to try and go live every week, depending on the weather and how things are going here on the farm. I think that would be a reasonable amount of time to try and go live, at least an hour, you know, one day a week is kind of the goal, depending on, you know, whether people are watching and whether I really have much to talk about. But yeah, so we've got Cornish cross meat chickens and Brahmas in the brooder right now. So we will have lots of Cornish cross and meat bird content here in the next couple of weeks. Like I said, I'm going to be working on that long form content too. So if you have topics that you want me to cover, comment them here, message them. Really anywhere that you see my name, Chicken Schmidt Farms, you can comment and say, hey, can you make a video on this? Can you make a video on that? And sometimes I get pretty backed up and I have a long list of requests, and you know, it just kind of varies how fast I can answer those questions. I can always give you a quick answer in a comment. I'm really quick about answering messages that way. But as far as creating content specifically that you guys want to see, send me a message, comment on my stuff. I like to give you guys what you want, so that's kind of where I'm at. I need to move on to another chore, but I don't know necessarily what it is I want to head to next. So I have nest boxes still to clean, but the chickens are in the nest boxes, so that didn't really do much for. I guess we can go refill the goose water, but the geese are gonna blah 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 over me the whole time, because that's kind of what they do. But none of the chickens seem interested in coming and sitting over here on my shoulder and hanging out and answering questions, so I guess we ought to move on to another task and chit chat while we do that. Hey, I'm glad you like my videos. I do try really hard to make sure that they're entertaining and also educational, so. Yeah, so our largest Cornish cross, I think, was just over 11 pounds in 10 weeks. So what you feed them and how you feed them is really important. So after 3 weeks of age, we will stop feeding them 24/7 and we will switch to a 12 hours on, 12 hours off feeding schedule. And all day long, their feeders will be filled and they're gonna eat a ton. So we also like to raise them out in a chicken tractor. So they've got grass and bugs too, which is awesome. So, all right, well, I'm gonna head over to the geese. It does not look like I accomplished much of anything in this run. It's still disgusting and stinky, and I need to get a wheelbarrow in here and move some stinky stuff out. But as my bucket shows, I did take some things out of there. So I made the tiniest of, oh, what did it do there? The tiniest bit of progress here. But there's still plenty of work to do because these runs are disgusting. So that's just what happens when it rains. Well, tell her I said that I really appreciate the interactions on my channel. I really appreciate anybody that watches my videos. Like I said, I fund the farm simply through the videos I make and the posts I make on Facebook, that kind of thing. So just about everything on the farm here is purchased through money that I make creating content. So you guys are really, really, really important to that. And without people watching my videos and commenting on my videos, I wouldn't be able to spend as much time as I do taking care of my chickens, taking care of the farm, and they certainly wouldn't have the nice things that they have here either. So you guys are very much appreciated. All right, the geese are gonna throw a fit here. You'll get to see Barry in action, being the way that Barry is. Let's see if I can flip it. There we go. So I refilled their water here yesterday, and it is already disgusting. And Barry's gonna tell you about it. You tripped, that's embarrassing. They are so noisy and so dramatic about everything. You can see that if you were started. It's clearing up a little bit there. It's still got a little bit of silt, gross stuff going on. But I know, Barry is always dramatic. If you are looking for drama on the farm, Barry is going to be where it's at. So it doesn't matter if I'm actively giving Barry exactly what he wants. He's still going to complain about it. He's a very dramatic goose. Despite the fact that the geese are really loud and are a bit dramatic, I really do enjoy them though. They're a lot of fun. I'll go sit up there with them here in a bit and you guys will see they'll nibble at my shoes and they'll pull at my pant legs and just be as dramatic as they can. Okay, hopefully that hose will stay in there. We're gonna have to take each bucket one at a time because if I take both, I'll spill both. The pools are on the to-do list, but they're honestly not that bad right now, so we're not gonna worry about them today. With all the rain, it's been tough to keep anything clean, let alone the pools. So these guys are hanging out in here. All right. So I don't know, how long do you think it's gonna take for this this water to get absolutely disgusting again? Yeah, so I have definitely been nibbled on by a goose. It's not really as big of a deal as you would think it is. So these three right here, those are the goslings. Those are the babies. So we'll see if Kiwi will come up to me. This right here is Kiwi with the green leg tag. We'll see if Kiwi will want. She's one that acts like she's really tough, but she's actually sweet. So I'm hoping I can convince her to come up for a blade of grass. Come get it. Come here. Come here. So yeah, the goslings are fully grown now. They got really big really fast. So those are the 3 that you see in the background there. They're kind of that blonde color. They're our buff goslings. Come here. Come get it. Yeah. Isn't that nice? Look at that. This is Melanie. All of our gray geese, well, they're not gray geese, they're Toulouse, have fruit names. So we have Berry, Kiwi, Melanie, and Clementine. This is Kiwi that's coming up now. She's acting really angry, but she'll be gentle. She's a real sweetheart. Come here, Key. Come get some more grass. I picked it for you, special. She used to be my buddy, but after she had her babies, she's kind of gotten grumpy. But she's still my sweet girl, I think. I just gotta find it. Yeah, there you go. These guys are a lot of fun. They do a great job of keeping the hawks at bay. They will chase the horses off. They'll chase the dogs off. They'll beat up the cat. They have absolutely no fear at all, which is, you know, kind of nice in a predator deterrent, but they are a lot of fun. I really do like the geese. They kind of take care of themselves. They wander around, they eat some grass. They're pretty cool. Oh, they're adorable. I wish Kiwi would come up here and take some more food from my hand. You will see Barry be a jerk. Watch, they're gonna chase off the cat. Who knows better than to come up here in the first place? Kitten, hey, be nice, Barry. Hey, hey, come here, kitty. Stop, that was mean. Yeah, they're getting freckles. I don't know if you can see that, but they're getting little freckles on their pantaloons, which I think is absolutely adorable and absolutely hilarious. Yeah, they're so mean to him, and he's such a sweet little guy. All he wants is to be loved, and all they want is to beat him up. So they are rude and disrespectful, and the cat knows that they're going to beat him up, so I don't know why not to victim blame or anything, but I don't know why he walks right next to them when he knows that they're going to bite him. But he does it, so. Hi, kitten. So that's just kind of the way he is, the way he rolls. If you're just hopping on here, like I was saying earlier, I'm working on more long form content here on YouTube, and it would be tremendously helpful to me if you guys would watch those videos maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 times, leave it up and running while you're doing whatever it is you do around the house. But I am working really hard to get 4,000 watch hours so that I can monetize the channel here and buy more cool things for the birds and take better care of the birds and the farm in general. So that's something I'm working really, really hard on. And yeah, any way that you can support watching my stuff, watching my shorts, but the long form videos are where I'm really, really hoping that I can monetize this channel here and do even better things for the geese. So I was potentially thinking of when I hit that goal, when I'm able to monetize here, that I would maybe pick a subscriber and do a t-shirt giveaway, something like that. But any support you guys give, comments, likes, shares, I never ask that you send me money or anything like that. So if you ever see anyone that says they're me and they're asking for money, don't send it. Send me a message first. Don't just send money to anybody ever on the internet. But I don't like to ask my followers to help pay for things or stuff like that. I just prefer to have the billion-dollar companies pay me for the content that I create. So to do that, I have to play by their rules and I have to reach their monetization goals. And it's a pain sometimes. It's really tough. I have a chicken named Spock. And her twin, well, not really a twin, but her sister's name is Speck, so I have Speck and Spock. I do sell t-shirts, so all of the links for like my merch stuff, I need to create a Barry shirt because Barry is pretty well loved. But I do have a sweatshirt that has my 3 main roosters on it. We've got Maurice, Vern, and Vader are all on a Chicken Schmidt Farms sweatshirt or t-shirt or tank top, whatever it is that you want to put that on. So that's linked in my profile. Yeah, I've always wanted like a parrot or a macaw, because like birds are incredible and they're a lot of fun. But geese, chickens, and quail work out a whole lot better for me. But these guys are awesome. They're a lot of fun, they're a lot of work, but I love them. And the cat, he's sitting on my lap here, so I feel like he deserves an honorable mention. I love him too. But birds are really cool. They have a lot of weird behaviors, but they're incredible just to watch them interact. And I swear sometimes if you watch them close enough, you can see them thinking, which I find to be interesting. But they are really cool. I haven't found the quail to be too difficult to take. Hey kitten, don't rub on the stand like that. I haven't found the quail to be too difficult to take care of. They're actually some of my easiest birds. That was embarrassing. Did you see that? I think they've been some of my easiest birds to care for on the farm, honestly. Yeah, so it really depends. There's a lot of risks with natural water sources and waterfowl. The risks are disease from other, wild waterfowl coming in contact with your birds. The other risk is, Big Feathers Farm. I like to say gooses. It's a lot more fun. But the gooses, I like to raise them with the pools because it's easier for me to control their contact with like diseases and stuff like that. And I don't have to worry about snapping turtles or other aquatic issues, bacteria, illnesses, the bird flu when the migratory geese come through, all of those things. So that's why I prefer the pools. You could dig a pond, you could build a pond for them, but anytime you have a large natural water source like that, you do really bring in a lot more risk of illness, disease, injury, predation, those kinds of things. And of course, you also run the risk if you have a really big pond and you've got 4 stubborn geese. You may have trouble getting them in at night. There's a chance that they will camp out in the pond and you won't really have much choice but to leave them out there. So those are some things to think about when you decide whether or not you want to dig a pond or you want to deal with cleaning pools. We have 46 chickens, 20-some quail, 7 geese, horses, a dog, and a cat, and some goldfish. So we've got tons of critters here on the farm. The cat over here is doing whatever he's doing. He's a goofy dude. He's our mouse catcher. But he's pretty coddled as far as a barn cat goes, so he is always inside at night. I don't leave him outside overnight because I don't want anything bad to happen to him. He's fed a can of wet food every day, whether he does or doesn't catch mice that day, and he's fun. He's neutered, so he's not going to make any kittens that we don't want. What are you doing, dude? And he's vaccinated, and he's taken to the vet when needed. So as far as barn cats go, he's not really like your traditional barn cat would be. He's a goofy dude, though. We love him. And then we've got the horses over there. I don't know if you can see them hanging out. So that white horse there is 35 years old. So I sometimes get complaints on some of my videos that she looks terrible, but for a 35-year-old horse, she looks pretty darn good. So every day that we look out in the field and see that she is upright is a good day for us. We're constantly in contact with our vet, making sure that her still being around at 35 is the right choice for us and the right choice for her. But so far so good. She's doing really well. So she's a great horse, a special horse. We don't ride her really anymore just because she's old and she's retired. So she's just a pasture pony now, but oh, kitty. Yeah, he is probably the sweetest cat I've ever met. Yeah, kittens get out of control really, really fast. So it doesn't take long for a mama cat to become 6 cats. And then next thing you know, you've got 36 cats, and then you've got 100 cats on your farm, and they're all reproducing, and you can't afford to get them spayed or neutered. So I always recommend if you adopt one from the shelter, it's already going to be fixed more often than not. Those are already going to be fixed. Yeah, spay and neuter your cats for sure. And if you can't afford to spay them, neuter all the ones you can, because that's a whole lot cheaper. But yeah, it's incredibly important to control feral cat colonies and just the amount of barn cats that you have to feed and raise on your farm. These diseases get out of control and populations get out of control, and it's just not something you want. Kitten, what do you want, kitty? Yeah, don't push over my stand, buddy. It seems like the geese don't want to hang out and interact today, which is interesting because usually they like to follow me around and they're right up my booty. If you've got too many roosters, you have a couple of options. You can make them dinner, you can sell them, or you can get more hens. So around 10 to 15 hens per rooster is what you're going to want. So if you have 5 roosters, you want to make sure you have at least 50 hens, and that's probably a little bit light. So yeah, those are really, you could also pull the extra roosters and create a bachelor flock. Bachelor flocks usually do fairly well as long as they don't have hens that they can really see or hear too much. And that keeps them from having really any competition, so they just hang out and become bros. I started on TikTok. I've gone live on Facebook maybe once, but it was kind of a questionable experience. And I'm trying really hard to get my YouTube page to grow here and to really get up and going here as far as monetization goes, so that I can make some changes. I was thinking about adding a roof here to the quail enclosure, although I don't think it's going to solve my problem too much because our rain doesn't come straight down. Our rain comes aggressively from the side, but it'll at least give them a little bit more shelter. Other projects we have is we want to tear this red coop down and fully build it. And so monetizing here on YouTube would be really helpful with that as well. So some upcoming projects that we are going to sort and sex our quail here and have a few of the spare males for dinner. That's on our to-do list for sure. Because as you can see, not only are they molting, but some of them kind of have bare backs there, and that's just because we have too many males and not enough females. These guys have been fairly easy to take care of. Feed them, water them, make sure they've got good shelter, and that's what we've got. So we're also going to build a winter shelter. So this one's going to come out, this stool's going to come out, and we are going to, it's an interesting looking egg over there. We're going to build a insulated warm shelter for them for the winter time. Look at this egg. Ugh. It looks kind of green, but it's not, it's brown. I would consider long for 5 minutes. I don't really know how much past that I can go. I've been chit-chatting here for 45 minutes, but really anything over a minute and a half, 2 minutes, I guess I would consider long form, but it really depends on the topic. We've got Coturnix quail. It is a little bit stinky in here because it does nothing but rain. Yeah, so as far as full disclosure here, I'm perfectly happy to talk about it. TikTok is my highest revenue stream, and followed by Facebook. Monetizing on Facebook is really a really big deal. So on Facebook, you can get paid for your reels, your photos, your text posts, your stories. It's not a lot, but it has been enough that, let me put it this way. Last year, the last 8 years of my life, I have been working at our local middle school, teaching kids how to read. And I had reliably been able to make more income per month on TikTok than that job. So I essentially was being paid more to create videos about chickens than I was to teach kids to read, which I think is a little backwards and confusing. But having a broad spectrum of platforms is a really good idea. So TikTok, YouTube, Facebook are all ones that I have been able to monetize. YouTube, I'm only able to be monetized if my followers, my subscribers were to send me like money and bonuses, and I don't like that. I would prefer to have the multi-million-dollar company of YouTube pay me for what I create rather than rely on subscribers or followers to pay me for what I create. So I prefer that the platform pays me. So while I'm technically monetized on YouTube, I'm a little uncomfortable with asking, I guess, or even mentioning that you know, you guys can send me a bonus, because I don't want you guys to do that. I would really prefer if YouTube did that. I also do some TikTok shop stuff, and I do like affiliate marketing through Amazon, which is nice. And yeah, so that's really nice, because anytime someone purchases something through my Amazon link, whether it's a product that I've linked or not, I get a teeny tiny bit of revenue from that. And I think that's really cool, because people are always going to be purchasing. That quail's limping, so I'll have to check her out. They're always going to be purchasing from Amazon, so I may as well get a teeny part of that from Amazon as well, if that makes any sense. I'm gonna go grab that quail real quick and see what she's running from me. See what she's got going on, because she is limping. Come back, hey, nice. Don't do this, quail. Please don't make me. This is. We're gonna embarrass everybody here. Come here. Oh, I gotcha. All right, let me see what you got going on. I know. You're kind of skinny. What's wrong? Whoa. Oh. All right. Yeah. These quails smell horrible. Yeah. So they're my top fill Harris Farms waterers, and those are some of my favorite waterers on the farm. I absolutely love those. I got you, quail. It's okay. Yeah, so there's the Harris Farms top fill waters. I do think that I have them linked in my Amazon profile, or in my Amazon storefront here on my profile, just so you can see what they are and what they look like. But we got them in our local farm store. Okay. You definitely have something going on here, little quail, but hold on, don't panic. Don't panic. Get that for you. Hold on. The Harris Farm fill waterers. Hey, Wayne. Yeah, so this water back there that you see back in there with the chickens is a Harris Farms top fill waterer. And it's like 6.25 gallons, which is really nice. It's linked in my profile on my Amazon storefront, but you can find them pretty much at any local farm store. Hey there, quail. Will you put your other foot down so I can see it? Because you got me thinking you maybe only have one leg, and that's got me freaked out. I had that happen once. Before I added these gray borders along the bottom here, I came out and I had a quail that was missing a leg because a raccoon had managed to pull its toes through the wire, and it was absolutely awful. You have both legs, don't you, quail? Can you prove it? Okay, yeah. Goodness, I'll tell you what. The quail are a whole lot of fun. They're cute little guys, and they just tootle around. A lot of people ask why we keep the quail. We raise the quail for meat. We raise them for eggs. They're just a way to have a more diverse, the group of, I'm looking for my words and I'm struggling. More diverse species here on the farm. So the quail are really nice to have. They are something that's really nice if we need to have a source of meat really quickly. We can hatch out a ton of quail in 18 days and then have them processed for dinner in 6 to 8 weeks, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I have only 2 quail in here named. We've got Doug and we've got forest quail. Yeah, the oregano oil for chickens is really good stuff. So I use the Kalmbach feeds oregano oil, and I've been adding it to my water here pretty regularly just because things have been so nasty and so wet. It's just a good way to give them a natural immunity boost, and I've done that for the quails as well. Yeah, a collaboration would be really cool. You can send me a message. I'm not entirely sure how we would do that. I don't know if you can do like a joint live or I don't really know how that works. Yeah, so that is the most unfortunate part about having chickens, is they can be pretty fragile, they can be pretty delicate, and unfortunately with just about any animal you get, unless you get yourself a big old tortoise or you get yourself is it a macaw, one of those birds that's gonna outlive you and you're gonna have to will it to your grandchildren, unfortunately you are gonna have to deal with some loss at some point, which is unfortunate, but I don't know. My policy is always to make sure that they have a really good life, and that when it comes time to the end, I make the right decisions so that they don't ever suffer. It's never a fun decision to make, but unfortunately that's a decision that you'd have to make with a dog or a cat as well. Without a doubt, the worst loss I've ever experienced in my entire life has been my dog. So we had probably the best boxer in the world. Her name was Sissy, and this dog was incredible with the chickens. She was incredible with the cat, and unfortunately her life was shorter than I think it ought to have been, and I only had her for 10 years, and for some of those years I was in college, so unfortunately I didn't get to spend quite as much time with her as I would have liked, but she was the best dog in the world, and I am certain there will never be another dog that's quite as good as she is. But despite that fact, we do have another dog that we absolutely love, we absolutely adore, that we got after her. And I'm sure when it comes to the end of her life, we're going to think the same thing, where, you know, we'll never have a dog that's quite as good as Tookie is. So it's worth the loss. Really, they say grief is the price that you pay for love. And I think that's absolutely true. And I think despite all of the bad things, raising livestock, raising chickens, raising quail, geese, dogs is absolutely worth it. Yeah, absolutely. One bad day is our policy. So we raise our meat chickens. The whole reason that we raise them is really, I'm never going to stop eating meat. I think meat is a natural part of the human diet, and it's not something that I'm going to give up. So, yeah, so our policy is to raise them with love and kindness and respect, and to let them have a quick and humane end, and just as much respect and love and joy as we can pack into their short little lives. There's a little quail. This one's sitting over there in the food dish. They're goofy. The horses see me sitting over here, so they think that that means it's dinner time, but they're about 2 hours off, so they can't really tell time here, but they are eyeballing me pretty good and acting like I'm gonna feed them, but I'm not gonna do that, not just yet. This quail enclosure is next on my to-do list to clean, but I've about done as much as I'm gonna do for today. Yeah, so the biggest piece of advice I have for growing anywhere is to be really consistent. So I post at least twice a day on TikTok. I post twice a day on Facebook. Facebook's really cool because you can schedule your videos there, but be really consistent. Try and focus on quality content, and make sure you really know what you're talking about. Don't try and be somebody else. The content that I create is different than some of the friends that I have that are also content creators. They have different styles. Everybody has their own kind of way of talking, their way of doing things. So I would say be yourself, be authentic. Don't try to sell something just because you need money. If someone offers you a product and you don't like it, always give them the opportunity to say, hey, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be that guy, but I don't like the product and I'm not going to make a video promoting it. Just be authentic and be consistent. Those are kind of the pieces of advice that I have if you're trying to create content. And genuinely, if you have something that you're really passionate about, that you really enjoy, you can absolutely make money on content. You really can. You just have to have a niche. So my thing is obviously quails, chickens, geese. It would be kind of odd if I were to suddenly start making videos on fashion, because that's clearly not me. And I can't imagine that the audience that I've built here would want anything to do with my fashion tips. I wouldn't want anything to do with my fashion tips, if we're being totally honest. You guys have clearly seen in my videos that I'm not interested in how I look. Yeah, it was nice to chat with you, Robert. Hopefully I can see you on here again soon. Listen, I would do a collaboration with Home Chef if somebody wanted to, hook that up, because I really enjoy Home Chef. But if it's not something that I actually like, if it's not a product that I actually use and have actually enjoyed, I'm generally going to say, no, I don't think I want to make a video for that product. I've had people that want me to make videos for them for fake eyelashes, which I think is insane. I don't think I've ever in my life worn a fake eyelash. So I have no idea why they thought that I was the person to go to for that. But yeah, that was certainly an experience. I was like, I don't think you want me marketing your beauty products. I don't wear them. Very clearly do not wear them. So that's something to consider, I guess, as well. Yeah, every once in a while I'll share like other little projects that we've got going on the farm, but for the most part I like to keep things as much about the animals as possible. Yeah, I'll definitely try and go live here, once a week at least. And I'm going to work really hard on trying to get some of that long form content out and be more consistent here on YouTube. I'm really good about being consistent on Facebook. I'm really good about being consistent on TikTok, but I do struggle a little bit with YouTube, and I think I need to put more focus into this audience here and into this platform here. So hopefully you guys will see more Chicken Schmidt Farms here on YouTube. Yeah, so we do have a lot of people that reach out to us, and some of the stuff I'm like, you clearly did not watch my content, because I'm not selling eyelashes to anybody. Trying to get me to sell makeup to anybody is kind of a crazy thing to even suggest. I do a lot of things, but wear makeup really isn't. I'll wear makeup to a wedding or a funeral, but that's about it. I appreciate you watching me here, Ken. It's incredibly helpful to have interactions with any of my content here. I truly do hope to get monetized here soon. When I do, like I said, I want to do some sort of like t-shirt giveaway. I just have to figure out what that looks like and how that works. Whether I post that giveaway in like a forum on my page, or as a long form video, or as a short. I just kind of have to figure out what that would look like and how that would look. But first we got to reach the goal of being monetized, because that's a big one. That's a big one for me. Yeah, that's why I like to have all of my content spread across all the different platforms. It's because there are some people that are diehards for YouTube. There's some that will only have Facebook. There's some that hate Facebook, hate YouTube, will only have TikTok. And so I think it's really cool to have, people I can connect with on all sorts of different platforms. Okay, do you hear that? that means somebody's coming up our driveway, and I would assume with what time it is that it's probably my husband on here coming up the driveway, and the geese are letting me know about it. So I have to get a certain amount of watch hours. I have the right amount of subscribers, so I'm good with subscribers, although the more the merrier. But I have to get a certain amount of watch hours. So I need roughly 2,500 watch hours. And for whatever reason, YouTube doesn't seem to think that shorts counts. So my long form videos are the videos that I need to start making more of and get people to watch. They say that going live helps too. And so by chit-chatting with you guys, the hour that we've talked, each of you that watch this will be 1 watch hour, which is kind of a cool thing. So I am going to try and be more consistent here on YouTube. I'm going to try and create more long form content and go live more often here.